Hey guys, I don't know about you, but I feel for the last few years, there's something that has been off. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. The last few years, it just seems like there's been a lot hitting us. I know for me personally, we had our 5th child 18 months ago. Amazing, great, but I didn't expect to get my family from Ukraine within the month. My mother-in-law has a lot of medical issues, got my 2 nephews who came to me and they are now living with us. So all of a sudden, I've got 7 kids, which I have to admit, I always wanted a lot of kids, but man, with inflation, it is, this is expensive. And business-wise, a few years back, things were not going well. All of a sudden, things started picking up. I would say we are doing steady, which to me, when I'm looking at all these markets that are growing around me, I'm like wondering, okay, am I doing the right thing? How can I change things up? I launched 2 businesses, which I love the ideas of them, but I just haven't had time to focus on. To be straight up, gents, at times I am exhausted and overwhelmed. Despite having people around me, I sometimes just feel like I'm alone, which is why this letter I received from one of you guys hit home with me. Antonio, I'm 50 years old and struggling with confidence. I once felt a strong sense of purpose and direction, but recent challenges like COVID, job loss, and societal shifts have left me uncertain of my identity and place in this world. Despite my efforts to take courses and joining groups, I face continuous rejection in the job market due to my age. I even reached a point where I was so broke that I had to borrow money from my son. I've heard the advice that I am in control of my own destiny, but man, I feel trapped by my circumstances. Honestly, I'm just feeling overwhelmed and I'm tempted to withdraw and avoid societal judgments. Antonio, please give me some advice. Sincerely, TM. So first up, TM, thank you for reaching out. And I want to let you guys know the actual letter he wrote me was well over 1,000 words. He gave me a lot more detail. One important point that he did mention that I kind of inferred from the letter is that he raised his son by himself, a single dad, and he did it also when he was a young man. He was probably in his early 20s when he had his boy. He also shared with me he's taken a lot of courses online, offline, he's been spending money, he's trying to improve himself, but he just can't seem to get a foothold with anything. TM, I want to congratulate you on being a good dad. I mean, you think about important things in life. The relationship that you've got with your son is obviously good enough that he is loaning you money. There's a lot of people I know that have done incredibly well money-wise, and they have no talking relationship with their kids. Their kids hate them. I've got one friend, and this guy, multi-millionaire, he's one of the CMOs of a very successful, well-known public company, and his kids won't even talk to him. You've got a kid that is loaning you money, so congratulations. You have got a relationship that so many other fathers just would envy. This is what they want. On top of that, you haven't given up. In fact, your story is not even close to being finished. And that's what I'm going to challenge you here, is to reframe everything you said and look at this as a movie. If this was going to be the movie of your life, yeah, this is the part when in the hero's journey, when you are down, when things are not looking great. But what happens in a great story? What do we know that the hero does? He finds a way to overcome. He finds salvation. He doesn't always, there are the tragic stories. He doesn't always get to where he was, but he reaches a point, and all of us can find a way to reach this point. And yes, I believe all of us can reach this point. If you've ever read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, the guy found meaning being, starved and tortured in a Nazi concentration camp, and his entire family perished. How did he find meaning? Because he knew that he had ideas, he was seeing amazing things happening, and he wanted to be able to share it in his research. And when his research was destroyed, guess what? He knew he had to live. He had to make it through that time period so that he could rewrite it, so that he could share with the world his insights, and that his family's sacrifice would not be in vain. So TM, if you reframe your story as, hey, you are the hero, this is just part of your story, this is the down part, you are going to recover, you're going to find a way to be able to repay your son. And it may not even be money, it just may be you going to work for him, you may be starting a business that you can do with him, you being able to find a way to be able to step back up to the plate and give it another shot. Because TM, what I love about you is you're not giving up. You aren't a quitter. You're showing me right here that, hey, you are willing to be humble, you're trying tons of things. Guess what? Your luck may not have shown yet, but this hardship, this trial is going to forge you into the man you know yourself to be. Some of you guys are probably wondering, Antonio, why do you always say that? Because it's actually a quote that I don't remember where I got it from or if I created it myself, but I actually put it on here, this limited edition of Mission Fragrances, which, by the way, TM, we're going to get your address and we're going to send you one. My compliments, along with some product from my Australian company, Vitamin, because I know you're an Aussie. The thing is, we can all do this. We can all find somebody that's down on their luck in our network, in our friend group, in our family, and we can give them something. For me, I own companies, so I can actually send out product. Not all of you guys can do that, but what you can do is you can send a nice note. You can actually support others. You can send them a text. You can send out a phone call. I have one friend, he usually every single morning, he texts 3 people a positive note. He's built this reputation as this super positive dude, and it's not a bad thing. And if you think about it, so many people just are having a shitty day, and you get a note from a friend that you haven't heard from for 6 months, just telling you, man, go out there and crush it. You are amazing. Yeah, it may seem, what does he know about me? Or that person could think, wow, like I needed this sign, and there it is. I'm going to go out there and have an amazing day. Getting back to you, TM, I just want you to know that there are men out there that support you, women out there that support you, people that recognize what you've gone through. Maybe they don't see it right now. Maybe they haven't had the courage to say anything to you, but you are a survivor. You're a diamond that has yet to be found, shined up, cut, and set in a way that your brilliance can be seen. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. TM, it's safe to say that you're going through a friggin' hurricane right now, but guess what? You're going to come out the other side stronger and have a deeper appreciation for this one precious life that you have. All right, so you've reframed the struggle. Now what? Well, this next tip is going to help address the issues you're talking about with confidence, with feeling good, and with even eating healthy. So I'm going to recommend that you find a job at a gym first thing in the morning, 5 a.m. And later that day, I'm talking 10 o'clock in the morning, find a job at a healthy restaurant. So why am I being so specific? And why would a gym hire you? Why would a restaurant hire you? Why these particular jobs? So you talked about having issues with finding healthy food. You talked about issues finding motivation. Here's the thing. Gym owners, I know 2 in my town that cannot find anyone to show up at the 5 a.m. shift to open it. The owners show up and do this. So many owners are looking, and I'm sure it's the same down in Australia, they're looking for somebody to be their first thing so that they can actually sleep in a little bit, rest certain days. A lot of these gym owners, they are struggling, but guess what? So are you. And for you to be able to join up with them, even if it's a volunteer position, you've made a commitment to be there at 5 a.m. to open the doors. Guess what? And you set up this arrangement. You work out in the morning as well. You got 2 hours, 3 hours that you're covering first thing in the morning. First up, the gym owner is going to be elated. He's got someone who's dependable, who's showing up. You're going to enjoy it because you get a solid workout in and you're getting paid for it. Yeah, there are going to be a few people, but most gyms aren't going crazy first thing in the morning, maybe 6, 7 a.m. in the city. Point being is you are showing up to the gym. You're being held accountable and you've set it up with the owner. So, hey, you can get your workout in and this is going to change, because sometimes we get into a funk and we think we can think our way out of it. You can't think your way out. Your body is connected with your brain and you need to get those endorphins going. You need to start the day with a run, with a workout, with hitting those weights. Next up, let's talk about a restaurant. So my nephew did this. He was a firefighter and actually turned down an amazing job in California. Yeah, we're talking that $200,000 firefighter job. He realized, I don't want to do this. He had been up fighting fires up in North California, and he started starting his own fitness company. It did not work out well for him. So he realized nutrition, though, is something he doesn't know anything about. So he got a job at a really nice restaurant in Malibu, and he goes in and he's approaching it from the learner's perspective. And I think that I know I've done this as I approach 50. I sometimes think that I know a lot more than I actually do. I think the sign of us aging is when we become inflexible and we don't want to learn new things. Well, guess what? If you go into and you're working at a restaurant, you may start at the bottom. You may be cleaning the floors. Throw the ego out the window. You're not there to have a big credibility. What you're going there to do is to learn and to, again, make another deal with the owner, the people running, saying, hey, straight up, I am not eating super well. I want it put in here that I can get 1 or 2 meals. And these are meals that, they would otherwise throw away. They're ones that the customer either doesn't pick up, or maybe the customer says, that's not what I ordered, and sends it back. Guess what? That is your lunch. That is your breakfast, which you put to the side. It's a well-cooked meal. Again, you're working at a place that is making healthy food. You're learning actually how to make healthy food. Even if you're scrubbing the floors, they occasionally need hey, today we need you washing dishes. Next thing you know, you're over there, you're maybe cutting food. Point being is you're around people that are cooking healthy stuff. These are going to be your friends. And you're there, again, not trying to impress anybody. You're just wanting to learn. You're getting paid maybe a little bit of money, but most importantly, you're picking up skills which are going to serve you for the rest of your life. Now, TM, you may be thinking, Antonio, what are you talking about the rest of my life? I'm 50 years old. Yeah, I'm talking the next 30 to 40 years. Because I don't know about you, but people seem to be living longer. And if I'm going to be living into my 80s and 90s, I want to be mobile. I want to be walking around. I'm motivated when I see an 85, 90-year-old in the pool. I go to our aquatic center here in Wittenberg, mostly older people in the morning. I go in there and I bring the age maybe down to 75. But what I love seeing these older people in the pool doing their aerobics is that they are staying active. And they're showing me, hey, yes, every single day you got to keep moving. You've got to keep improving. And that's what death is when you stop caring, when you stop improving, when you stop taking steps forward. Look at this. Hey, I've got another 30 to 40 years to build something. Yeah, the government may tell you, retire at 65. They keep moving that age up because they want to get more money from you. Point being is, I think that retirement in of itself is a scam because it was created, 100 years ago by the Germans. They thought that taking that older workforce out would simply make room for the younger. It sort of did, but what it did is it killed a lot of those older people because they lost purpose. They lost their motivation. And let's talk about purpose. Let's talk about motivation. So I picked this up in your letter. As I'm reading through this, I realized for 20 some odd years, your son has been your purpose and your motivation. You talked about being a young dad, raising him, making sure that he was good to go, he was set for life, and now you feel bad that you had to ask for a little bit of help. But here's the thing, you set him up for success, and that was driving you for over 20 years. Now, what's driving you? I have to say, for most guys, we forget to reset our vision, our goals of where we want to be. It makes sense because we accomplish what most society tells us we need to do. At least, the good stuff like, hey, raise a family, raise your kid, be able to set yourself up. Now, you're not set financially. So it could be something that, hey, you want to put that as your goal, but you want to be really specific. I'm talking a vivid vision. Now, whenever you get that mission fragrance set, one thing I want to tell you about it is I've got a card, but on the back of that card, I've got some QR codes that go to the course that teach you how to use our scent triggers. But a big part of that course is helping you create a vivid vision, because I realized this a few years back, and it's something that I've seen the power of. When you have a direction, when you have a bearing, when you know where you need to go, you've got that lonely mountain out there in the distance. You think about, read the book The Hobbit, how were they had a focus, they had a place that they were going, and that's how they, as a big group, even when other people in the group would get lost, go off on these side tangent quests, they always knew to go back to that end goal, and you need to have that in your life. When you've got specific, detailed goals, now I'm talking SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, time-bound, when you've got all of that lined up and you've got that direction. I love my vision board. I shared it in another video, but really quick, you can see my house, you've got my family, I've got some business goals I want to get on this. Point being, when you've got those visuals, you've got those reminders, you are going to make sure that every day you're taking a step in the right direction. You've got to have those visuals, you've got to have that compass, and every few years, guess what? You want to reset that vivid vision, because most likely you're going to reach parts of that goal, and you always want to have it, you're going after something else. And that takes me back to the reframe. So as I was reading your letter, one thing that, and I know you didn't mean this, and you even said that, hey, I don't want to come off as a victim. But once you start saying that things are out of my control, that I have no ability to change the path I'm on, I think that that's when the victim mentality starts to grab around us. I want you to try to reframe and think, I'm not a victim. I am a survivor. And clearly, the evidence shows that you are. You have made it to the age of 50. Many men don't. You have raised a successful son. Many men can't. And you have had some success with work, you started your own company. There are so many things that you're very well written. The letter was really well laid out. So to start rebuilding your confidence, I think you need to look at your past and look at what you have accomplished. If you don't have a picture of you and your son up multiple places in your house so that you can see you and your boy and what you've accomplished, maybe set a goal for, hey, I am going to take him on a trip. I know you Aussies love to travel. You're going to get out here to the United States. We are going to cross the United States. We're going to rent a convertible and drive all the way. I know what this is going to cost. I know what I've got to budget, and I know what I need to earn. And this is going to be my drive. Yes, I may be living out of a van on the river in the meantime, but I'm going to be saving and putting away that money and setting things up so that I can take my boy on this trip and just let him know and spend time with the most important person in my life. But by having this goal, by reframing yourself as a survivor, as someone that has his best times in front of him, all of a sudden you're going to start to feel something maybe you haven't felt for a while. Hope. Knowing that the future has something, there's something there waiting for you. There's brightness up ahead. You are going through hell. When they say you're going through hell, just keep going, because you're going to make your way through it. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's there if you just look for it. TM, seriously, I want you to travel to the future with me. We're going to go forward 25 years. You're 75 at this point. Looking back, what advice would you give yourself now? Don't take my advice. Take the advice of yourself 25 years from now. I have a feeling, though, that he's going to say a lot of the same things I'm saying here. That he is, I mean, this is you. He's looking out for your best interest. He wants you to take care of your body. He wants you to take care of your mind. He wants you to stick around. He wants you to continue to develop that relationship with your son, knowing that, hey, the fact that your son gave to you, this is actually a great sign. And I mean, think about it. How many times have you given to somebody, and that other person just, they start to feel bad that they haven't been able to give back to you. In fact, that's probably happened to a lot of you guys before. Someone keeps giving you something, you're like, wait, I want to be able to reciprocate. Guess what? Your son got to reciprocate. This deepened the relationship. And I'm sure that 75-year-old you, he's got so much wisdom. Listen to him. What would he tell you to do? Because it's going to be the right thing and it's going to be moving you in the direction you want to go. And TM, speaking across in the United States, do you know how many miles it is from one coast to the other coast here in the United States? So it's about 3,100 miles, depending on, where you start, where you finish. And how many steps is that if you were to walk? 7.5 million. I know this because I was reading up on it, and I always thought that would be a really cool journey, just to walk across the United States. Now, if I were to share that with some people, they would say that's impossible, but it's not impossible. People have done it, and that 7.5 million steps is measurable and has been done. And it all starts with one small step. So the one small step I'm going to ask of you, TM, actually it's a few ones, but they're going to be easy. So send me your address. I want to ship you something. Next up, reframe the way that you're looking at yourself. You are a survivor. You are going to make it through. And finally, start thinking about your vivid vision. Where do you want to be in 3 years? What's something you want to accomplish in 5? Maybe you don't even have to write it out. I like to just print out pictures and have those visuals. A picture says 1,000 words. And don't feel self-conscious if some of this is material. Other things, maybe it's going to be travel. Maybe it's just something personally you want for yourself, for your body, for your mind, whatever it may be. Just have a vision of it and print it out, write it out, have it someplace that you can see it. And gentlemen, I know so many of you guys have gone through tough times. You've lost your identity. You've lost your sense of purpose. I want to hear how you are overcoming it. Let me know in the comments below, what advice would you give? And I've got some great challenge coins I would love to send out to at least half a dozen of you. Now, gents, if you enjoyed today's video, you are going to love this video. Boom, right here. Check it out. It is a solid video. I promise I don't repeat what I covered in this video, but I cover a similar topic, and I think you'll enjoy it. So yeah, check it out, guys. Solid video. Come on, click. I can't hold this up forever. Come on. What are you waiting for? Boom.